What's up, Salt Strong Nation? This is Justin, and what I have in front of me is the Daiwa Certate LT. I have the 4000 size on my hand, and I also have the 3000 size. We're actually going to compare both in terms of sizing and specs, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the features that the Certate offers. First impression, this reel is a thing of beauty. It is one of the smoothest reels I have ever felt in my life, and I've played with just about every single manufactured reel out there. So I'm impressed so far in terms of its smoothness, but we do want to have an unbiased, pro and con approach and talk about whether this is going to be a good option for you. I'm already seeing this being a long-term investment for somebody that's a diehard inshore fisherman and wants, the peak of perfection. This is kind of edging up on that right now. So again, we're going to dive into this, talk about the features between the 3000 and 4000 size, all the features that are packed into the Certate family as a whole, and see if this is going to be a good investment option for you on the water. So let's jump into comparing the sizes, and let's take a look at the 3000 model. Just kind of put them side by side. You can see right off the bat that the 3000 and 4000, there is a little bit of a size difference. Unlike the BGMQ, where the 3000 and 4000 are really similar, the 4000 does look to be slightly larger, and the specs match up with that. So on the 3000 size, you're looking at 7.4 ounces, and on the 4000 size, you're looking at 8.3 ounces. So really just an ounce of difference, which isn't that much. And I should point out that there is a 3000 and a 4000 size, but these are the CXH models, which C means the compact body design that Daiwa was incorporating in some of their models. They're able to reduce the overall size of the body of the reel without sacrificing any performance or strength, and still keeping the diameters of the spools proportionate with the size of the reel. So on the 3000 size, you're looking at getting about 185 yards of 10-pound braid. And on the 4000 size, you can get about 220 yards of 10-pound braid. But when you look at the size overall between the two, you'll notice that, yes, there is a little bit deeper spool on the 4000. There is going to be a thicker stock arm on the 4000 and a little bit bigger paddle here for more grip. And the drag difference between the two, I think, is negligible. You're packing 22 pounds of drag in a 3000 and 26 and a half pounds of drag in the 4000. That's a lot. But for most inshore anglers, even if you pack 20 pounds of braid on either reel, you're never really going to come close to needing that much drag capacity on a reel. It's nice to have it. It just means that at your mid and lower range settings, you're going to have a little more control. You're not putting an unnecessary amount of force on either reel. And then when it comes to gear ratio, these are both the XH models, so they are a higher gear ratio. They're both a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio, with the 3000 being 36 inches per turn and the 4000 being 39 inches per turn. One full turn of the handle, getting an extra 3 inches. Again, I think that's negligible. So what I wanted to check and what I tried out is that I wanted to see which one would balance better on my custom 7'6" rod, my rod that I've competed in a lot of tournaments in, and I actually favor the 4000 size, which is different for me. A lot of the reels that I've owned have been 3000, but in the case of the Certate, I think the 4000 balance is just a little bit better. Again, it's only 8.5 ounces. There's other reels that are 3000 size that are 9-10 ounces. So to get a 4000 at only 8.5 ounces and it's still a compact body, I actually think the 4000 is the way to go for most fishermen. I think you're getting more value out of the 4000. It's just a different way of putting it. So that's something to consider when you're trying to choose between the sizes available. So let's talk about the frame material on the Certate LT. Daiwa does incorporate what they call their MQ frame, which MQ stands for monocoque. And what it is it's a singular one-piece body frame made out of solid aluminum. And it's kind of an innovative approach to creating a body of a reel. Most reels have a side plate, they're held together with screws, and then they're compressed and tightened down together. And with this design, it's a lot simpler. Daiwa uses a solid aluminum body. They simplify it, make it a little bit smaller and compact, and then they shove a giant gear inside of here. The main gear that's used in Daiwa's MQ body design reels, whether it's made out of zinc or aluminum, and these are aluminum in the case of the Certate, these main gears are bigger in diameter and thicker overall. I think they're like 20% thicker than other main gears. And what that does is that translates to more power when under load on a reel, and it translates to having more torque. And I think that's actually a misconception. You know, a lot of people think that power comes in on the drag of a reel, okay? Drag is important, and it does have a purpose. You can feather the drag a notch or two forward to slow down a fish that's running towards structure. But when you do stop that fish and you want to bring it towards you, you're going to feel like you're imparting less effort on a reel with this MQ design and this bigger gear, because that bigger gear is going to be kind of like the gear on a bicycle. It's going to apply more torque and pressure, and you're going to be able to get that fish in with less effort. So I think that's really cool to have an MQ design and this kind of reel. Another pro about the Certate LT that I think a lot of anglers might overlook is the bearings that are included in this reel. It does incorporate 10-ball bearings, but I kind of want to clarify because not all bearings are created equal. Traditionally, bearings are stainless steel shielded ball bearings, or they're sealed ball bearings, okay? In the case of the Certate, these are what Daiwa calls their CRBB. It's their higher category bearing. They are 12 times more corrosion resistant than traditional shielded ball bearings. So these sealed ball bearings, I think, offer an angler peace of mind and like new smooth performance for the life of the reel. As an example, you ever turn the handle on a reel you've owned for a while and you hear and you're like, man, what is that raspiness? So I got like dirt or sand somewhere inside of here and you're trying to figure it out. Likely one of the bearings, maybe an axial bearing inside of the body, the integrity has been compromised and needs to be changed out. It's a small thing. It's not fun for any angler. It can drive you nuts on the water. But the fact that Daiwa took that extra step and incorporated CRBBs in their Certate, I think is huge. It just offers an angler peace of mind, and it's what adds value to this reel when you jump up into this price point. Now, to talk about the biggest pro on the Certate, hands down, has got to be Daiwa's Magseal technology that they've incorporated here. For those of you that are familiar with Magseal technology, you know what's up. It's a great thing to have. But for those of you that might not know what Magseal is, let me explain it to you. So Magseal is Daiwa's way of protecting their reel from the elements. It's a ferrofluid. It works in conjunction with a magnetized plate, okay? And above this plate is like an inner race, or kind of like a moat, if you will. This ferrofluid is added to the top of this magnetized plate that sits over top of the anti-reverse inside of the reel. And what that does is when that ferrofluid meets this magnetized plate, it creates this chemical barrier that protects the reel from the elements, from salt and dirt and grime and all kinds of things. And it's just an important thing that many diehard saltwater anglers are looking for. It's a unique feature found on some of Daiwa's other reels. You can find it on the Fuego, the Ballistic, and then the Luvius, the Certate, and the Exist, and the Saltus. There's, I'd say, half of the lineup, or maybe a third of the lineup of Daiwa reels incorporate Magseal technology. I think that's very important for guys that want a long-term reel and something that's going to be able to withstand the elements. But I want to point out something small that I think a lot of people might not realize, and that is Daiwa does use Magseal technology on their line roller. Little bitty feature. I think it makes a big difference though, because the line roller is one of the first things to fail on a spinning reel. Like I mentioned earlier, that raspiness that you hear sometimes can be that line roller, and it could just be an inferior bearing or part that's not protected well. So I think Daiwa went one step further and added their Magseal technology and a magnetized plate here just to help with the longevity of that roller bearing. Just a little attention to detail again that I really think separates this reel from others in its class. Some of the other features on the Daiwa Certate are the Zion Air Rotor, which is a little bit different than the traditional Air Rotor that they use on their Legalis and their Fuego and some, the $100 category reels. On their traditional Air Rotor, it's made out of a carbon composite material, which is very lightweight, but I think that it struggles in terms of having the durability and the strength and you'll hear some anglers talk about the rotor flexing when under a load. Daiwa still wanted to incorporate lightweight material in the body of their Certate, but they used Zion, which is a higher density carbon that's still very lightweight, but it's very strong. I'm trying to push down on this and I can't get any flex out of this rotor. Their Zion material is, I believe it's as corrosion resistant as magnesium, but it is like a quarter of the weight and it's half the weight of aluminum. So they're still able to keep a lightweight body design and a lightweight rotor, but they're not sacrificing any strength by going with that Zion material. Some other things you'll get with the Certate are the air bail design. Again, very lightweight and consistent. You'll also have the ATD drag system, which is the automatic tournament drag. Essentially, it's a viscous fluid that resides in between all of the carbon fiber washers, and it just allows for a consistently smooth drag the entire time at variable settings, as well as the ABS long cast spool design, which is a little bit of a lip here at the top of the spool to allow for increased casting distance. Let's talk about some of the cons, and let's address the elephant in the room, and that is the price. The Certate 2500, 3000, 3000 CXH are $450, and the 4000 is $500. It's a pretty penny. Just keep that in mind. For that reason, I don't think this reel is for everyone. Do you have to have a $500 reel to go out and catch a bunch of fish? No, you do not. As we've proven, the Daiwa Fuego for $100 and even the Legalis for $70 are great options for guys that are casual inshore fishermen going for slot redfish, trout, snook, maybe some small juvenile tarpon, flounder. This type of reel, when you're jumping up into this price point, is a heavy investment. You choose to buy this reel because you're a diehard saltwater fisherman and you expose your reels to the elements all the time, or you're an avid guide and you're on the water 250 days plus a year, or you just like to have shiny things, like me. I'm definitely going to go with a 4000 size Certate on my custom rod because I can appreciate the attention to detail and the craftsmanship that's put into this kind of reel. But again, I don't think it's for everyone. It's the only downside I can see it initially is the price of this reel being very, very high for what it is. Aside from that, the only other con I can think of is this reel is not easy to work on yourself. This threaded plate that Daiwa uses on their MQ design, you need a special tool to be able to remove it and get into the main gear. You could probably take this rash guard here off the bottom to get into the main gear, but really to remove it and access the pinion and main gear, you need a special tool to de-thread this side plate, and it's just a little bit of a hassle. So if you're the kind of person that likes to maintain your own gear at home once a year, take it apart and re-grease your main gear and lube up some things inside the reel, this might not be the option for you. Daiwa does offer their expedited warranty service on the Certate and the Exist reels, their flagship series of reels. And their turnaround time is pretty quick, but some people just want the convenience of being able to take apart their gear and clean it themselves and have that quality control on their side. Although I don't think you will need it, this is not a reel for the tinkerer. It is a reel for the guys who want to have an item of beauty and luxury. And that about covers all the bases of the Certate LT. Again, we talked a little bit about the 3000 and the 4000 size, whether it would be a good option for you. I guess my final statement on this reel is that if you're the kind of person that wants to invest in a product that you're gonna have for a long time, it's gonna perform consistently year after year, have a lot of beautiful features, it's striking cosmetics, and you want to go after big fish. I mean, if you're the person, that wants a smaller, compact reel and you're targeting 40-inch snook like Peter Deeks does over on the East Coast, or you're even mid-sized tarpon, I can see somebody taking a 4000 size reel and going after 50, 60 pound tarpon with 20 pound braid and getting it done, because this reel is a powerhouse. If you guys have any questions at all, reach out to us on saltstrong.com. And if you're a part of our insider membership, you can earn awesome discounts at fishstrong.com. So be sure to check them out, and we will see you guys on the water. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online fishing club in America because we literally guarantee that you'll start catching more fish in less time. And we do this by providing you with premium education, an exclusive online fishing community, and huge discounts on the best tackle for saltwater anglers. So to learn more, go to saltstrong.com, and we'll see you in the Insider family soon.